Right, so in this section, we're going to be solving right triangles, which means that we need to remember how to solve for angle measures because we haven't talked about that yet. And so just to remind you, in lesson 5-3, we learned to use the unit circle to determine some trig functions. And so on page 305 is a list of all the trig, or sorry, I should say the first 3 trig functions of each of those angle measures. So if you're a memorizer, this would be a good thing to memorize. If you're not a memorizer, then I tend to use special triangles, and I'll show you what that means. So it would benefit you for, if you knew the sine of 30 is a half right off the bat and cosine of 30 is root 3 over 2, it does make your life easier, but you don't have to memorize it. All right, and so when you need to know the trig, when you know the trig value of an angle, but not the measure of the angle of itself, that means that you need to use the inverse function. So for example, if y is equal to sine of x, then that means that x is the same as the inverse sine of y, or that x is what's called the arc sine of y. Those both mean the same thing. So notice in this scenario, the x is representing the angle measure and the y is representing the ratio of the sides. I've got ahead of myself. There you go. X represents the angle measure and y represents the ratio of the sides. So if y is equal to cosine of x, then that means that x is the inverse cosine of y, or we could say arc cosine of y. And then similarly, if y is equal to tangent of x, then x is equal to the inverse tangent of y, or the arc tangent of y. And just remember, if at any point I'm going a little too fast, don't forget you can pause the video. Okay, so recall that we talked about all students take calculus. So this is really important in checking our SIGNs when we are finished with a problem. So you'll notice in quadrant 1, that's a positive direction for x and for y. In quadrant 2, it's a negative direction for x and a positive direction for y. Quadrant 3 is a negative direction for both. And quadrant 4, the x is positive and the y is negative. So think about it this way. Above the x-axis, y is positive, and below the x-axis, y is negative. To the right of the x-axis, x is positive, and to the left of the x-axis, x is negative. So remember on the unit circle, now I know this says sine x, cosine x, tangent x, but think of it more like as a theta. So on the unit circle, the sine is represented by the y coordinate. So in quadrants, sorry, I got ahead of myself. So if we follow the quadrants, we would say all students, meaning that sine is positive in quadrants 1 and 2, and it's negative in quadrants 3 and 4. So because sine is represented by y, that's going to be positive above the x-axis and negative below the x-axis. So we've got all students take, so that means tangent is positive in quadrants 1 and 3. And then the remaining 2 quadrants, 2 and 4, tangent would be negative. And then we have all students take calculus, so that means cosine is going to be positive to the right of the y-axis, so in quadrants 1 and 4, and cosine is going to be negative to the left of the x-axis, which is quadrants 2 and 3. So this is something really important to keep in mind when you're doing your problems to make sure that your SIGNs are correct. And it also tells us if I know the sine of x is positive, there's 2 possibilities to that answer. I could be in quadrant 1 or quadrant 2. Just like with cosine, if I know the cosine of an angle measure is negative, that means I could either be in quadrant 2 or quadrant 3. So every inverse has at least two answers. So if we take a look at question number 1, we've got the cosine of x is equal to root 2 over 2. Now, if I unrationalize this, hopefully we've worked with this enough, you would recognize that this is 1 over root 2, or hopefully you're getting like a 45-degree feel about this root 2 over 2. So then the question is, where is cosine positive? So if we say that all students take calculus, in the first quadrant, everybody's positive, and in the fourth quadrant, cosine is positive. So that means that I am dealing with either a triangle in the first quadrant or a triangle in the fourth quadrant where my adjacent is 1 and my hypotenuse is root 2. So my adjacent is 1 and my hypotenuse is root 2. So again, hopefully you're understanding that this looks like a 45, 45, 90, which is one of our FF and F root 2s. And again, if we use the special triangle where my scale factor is 1, we're looking at 1, 1, and root 2. If you're a unit circle person, then you would see that I've got root 2 over 2 here, opposite a 45-degree angle when my hypotenuse is 1, right? So that means my adjacent is 1, my opposite is either above the y-axis at positive 1 or below the y-axis at negative 1, and then my hypotenuse is root 2. So that means I either have this angle in quadrant 1, or I've got to figure out what angle would give me a 45-degree reference angle in quadrant 4. So we love quadrant 1 because the answer is what it is. We get 45 degrees. So then the next question is, what would the measure of this angle be? So that means in quadrant 4, we're saying what value, and I'm going to call it theta instead of x just so we don't get confused, but what angle measure plus 45 gives me a full revolution of 360. So what angle plus 45 more gives me 360? So if I subtract 45 from both sides, I'm going to get that the angle measure in quadrant 4 is going to be 315 degrees. So in our second picture here, tangent of x equal to 1, I can call that 1 over 1. And I notice I see a 1 and a 1 here. So I'm giving myself 45 feels again. And then this is positive. So we've got to say all students take calculus. And so the question is, where is tangent positive? So everybody's positive in quadrant 1, and tangent is positive in quadrant 3. So that means I have a triangle in quadrant 1, and I have a triangle in quadrant 3. And remember that perpendicular side always goes perpendicular to my x-axis. It's never to the other axis. So again, I've got a side of 1 and 1 when I'm dealing with a 45, 45, 90. So if I call this 45 here, that means my opposite and my adjacent could be positive 1, or my opposite and my adjacent could be negative 1. And again, the negative isn't dealing with length, the negative is dealing with direction. So it's 1 in the down direction. And then my hypotenuse would be the square root of 2, or again, if you're a unit circle kind of person, you could be using the unit circle like this. And so then the question is, I've got two possible answers. I have one in quadrant 1, and that's going to be 45 degrees, just like what it looks like. And then I've got one in quadrant 3. So that means in standard position, what would be the measure of this angle? So hopefully you're noticing I'm going around 180 plus a little bit more. So my angle measure, and again, I'm going to use theta. I know it says x here, but I just don't want us to get confused with x's and y's over here. So my angle measure is going to be 90 plus 90, which is 180, plus another 45, which means in quadrant 3, this is going to be 225 degrees. All right, so if we have sine of x equaling 1/2, hopefully you just heard me say sine of theta equal to 1/2, what that theta value was in that table. So hopefully this is giving you 30, 60, 90 feels, and if it's not, that's okay. So again, the first thing I notice is this is positive. And so I'm going to say all students take calculus. And then we need to figure out where is sine positive in this situation. So everybody's positive in quadrant 1, and sine is positive in quadrant 2. So we're looking for a triangle here and a triangle here. So sine is saying opposite over hypotenuse. So that means from my reference angle, my opposite is 1 and my hypotenuse is 2. And from my reference angle, my opposite is 1 and my hypotenuse is 2. And then I could use Pythagorean theorem to find x. So I could say 1 squared plus 2, I'm sorry, let's try that again. 1 squared plus, let's say, b squared is equal to 2 squared. So that means I have 1 plus b squared is equal to 4, making b squared equal to 3, which makes b equal to 3. root 3 when I take the square root of both sides. So I could either go root 3 to the right, or I could go root 3 to the left, and I still end up with a positive sign. So again, if the 1/2 didn't give you the 30, 60, 90 feels, then hopefully you have the 30, 60, 90 feels now. So if we set up that tic-tac-toe, we're going to say this is t root 3, and this is 2t. And we're going to let t be 1. And so we have this special triangle, right? Or you could have noticed in my orange, we're dealing with 1/2 on the unit circle. And so then I need to figure that out with a reference angle of 30 here and a reference angle of 30 here. So notice 30 is opposite the 1, so opposite this one is 30, and then opposite this one is 30 as well. So now I have my reference angle. And so in quadrant 1, we love quadrant 1 because the angle is what it is, it's 30 degrees. Then I have a quadrant 2 question that's starting in standard position. What angle measure here would then get 30 more to make a total of 180? So what angle measure, and again, I know this says x, but I don't want us to get confused, so I'm just going to say theta. So what theta measure plus 30 gives me 180? And so if I subtract 30 from both sides, I get theta is equal to 50. Sorry, 150, there we go. So in quadrant 2, I have 150 degrees. Now, I knew I made a mistake right there because 50 is still in quadrant 1, and I knew that my second answer had to be in quadrant 2. So always double check that you're in the correct quadrant.